Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, namaste. Good morning and welcome to the Bosch India Press Conference. I'm Eman Marta-Venerd, Head of Communication for Bosch India, and I will be your moderator for this session. Today is an important day for us at Bosch, not just in India, but globally. We're celebrating 100 years since Bosch first established its presence in this country. As you will hear, the business here has traveled a long distance since these small beginnings. And as we contemplate the past, we are also very excited to look to the future. I'm very pleased to welcome so many media representatives today. It is a great thing that even when outside events, such as the global pandemic, make meetings in person difficult or impossible, technology can always bridge the gap. The press material for our conference today you can find online at our website. Our conference language today is English. I'm delighted to be joined by 4 senior colleagues for today's press conference. First, we will hear from Stefan Hartung, who was appointed chairman of Bosch Board of Management on January the 1st. Stefan will reflect on 100 years of Bosch in India and consider what we have to look forward in our second century, taking us through the major global issues and strategic priorities for our business. After Stefan, we will hear from Soumitro Bhattacharya, President for Bosch Group in India. Soumitro will focus on Bosch India, setting out the recent performance and priorities of the business, and then looking ahead to an exciting future. This will be followed by a presentation from Markus Hein, who was appointed as a chairman of the Mobility Solutions business sector, Bosch Group, and responsible for all the corporate functions and services relating to that sector, as well as its divisions and subsidiaries. Markus is also responsible for software development services. He will introduce 2 new launches. And Sandeep, his Executive Vice President, Automotive Sales Mobility Solutions, Bosch Group in India. He will join us for the Q&A sessions later. So, let's begin, and we will start with a short video.
A vision has the power to surpass the boundaries of time. It leads you to uncharted territories in search of newer opportunities. Bosch, too, was led by this vision as it made its entry in India. With rising industrialization and newfound independence, people wanted more opportunities, paving the way for Bosch's first regional subsidiary, Myco. We contributed to India's green revolution and the auto industry with our diesel engine components, while expanding our presence and creating more jobs. As India's first Cricket World Cup heralded the beginning of a consumer revolution through television, we too consolidated our brand presence as the auto industry boomed. The establishment of our third plant in Naganathapura proved beyond point that markets open up for businesses that are transforming lives for the better. With liberalization offering more opportunities, we made our foray into power tools, while continuing to add Indian auto giants to our list of clients and seamlessly graduating from BS1 to BS2. In an emerging economy like India, the Bosch-Siemens partnership paved the way for the house appliances development. The potential for emerging sensor software and solutions provided for the establishment of the RBEI IT and engineering services. Simultaneously, CRS movement began within Bosch. Our Technical Indian Center bagged contracts with several reputable brands and also teamed up with another tech giant, Philips, to counter the issues related to security systems. With changing times, we also changed to match the needs and aspirations of our clients, marching forward with our values intact. we have not only powered the Indian economy forward, but also built this nation through employment opportunities, changing lives of people with AI-led technology and innovation. And we shall continue to toil to make a difference in this world through our innovations. It is our past that shall always determine our future, and we will walk in the footsteps of our predecessors to create a better future and make them proud. Even when the times are hard, our connection with you shall never fail, because we are emotionally invested in you. We are Bosch India, celebrating a century of our Indianness.
So, namaste. It's good to see you all. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to talk to you today as we celebrate 100 years of Bosch in India. It's a pleasure to congratulate all our associates on this historical milestone and to thank our partners, customers, for their trust and cooperation. All Bosch business sectors are represented in India, and India is also home to the largest Bosch R&D center outside Germany. Following the First World War, Robert Bosch once again turned his attention to markets outside Germany. His globalization resulted in a series of new ventures in Africa, Asia, and South America. And so it was that Bosch established a sales agency in Calcutta in 1922. Its task was to sell Bosch vehicle components to the Indian market. It was a modest beginning. But after India won its independence in 1947, Bosch saw a chance to help develop the nation's infrastructure, agriculture, and auto industry. In 1953, nearly 70 years ago, Bosch started manufacturing in Bengaluru, and it has been supporting the country's efforts to make in India ever since. True to the Bosch tradition of innovation, pioneering in products, and excellence in quality to enhance quality of life, we have developed into a technology leader in the Indian automotive industry, as well as in building and energy technologies, consumer goods, and industrial technology. Today, Bosch India is a world-class organization, working with the highest international standards in manufacturing, cutting-edge research and development, product and service quality, and human resources development with 15 lakh investments. Our presence has expanded from a small sales office in Calcutta to encompass 18 factories spread over 8 states, employing 32,000 associates. So as you can see, India is an old friend of Bosch, and we have matched these long-standing emotional ties with massive investments. Over the past decade, we have invested more than 1 billion euros, that's close to 9 crore rupees, in India. We will be investing more than 1,000 crore rupees over the next 5 years in advanced automotive technologies and a further 1,000 crore rupees in digital mobility. We are and will remain a significant employer of talent in the Indian technology sector. It's not just about the Indian market, it's about making India a global leader. As a global company, Bosch has made significant progress in its transformation from a manufacturer of physical products to a leading provider of goods, software, and services. This process is closely connected with cultural change, including more entrepreneurial action, agile collaboration models, and modern leadership. This global transformation process is exemplified by the excellent work of Bosch Global Software Technologies. This is the first Bosch global business unit to be headquartered in India, and it's one of the company's largest service units, serving external customers in over 12 countries. Ultimately, Bosch is not a follower, but a shaper of the global change, just like India. although we continue to feel the effects of the coronavirus pandemic, it is the reason I'm not able to join you in person, unfortunately, as well as we are ongoing in the chip shortage. Bosch continues to demonstrate agile innovation in face of the rapid changes. That is because Bosch is a very diverse organization based on 4 business sectors. First is mobility solutions, then industrial technology, energy and building technology, and consumer goods. In my 18 years at Bosch, I have been fortunate to have been active in all of them. The broad scope of our business puts us in a unique and powerful position because we are already involved in many product areas and can understand how a solution in one field can also be useful and applied to another. Furthermore, we have a strong purpose, invented for life. What do we mean when we say invented for life? We foster innovation that results in products, software, and services that spark enthusiasm and offer our customers the best solution. Our aim is to make these innovations available to a broad mass of people, improving their quality of life while helping to conserve natural resources. So for life also means high quality, mass production, and a global distribution of software, products, and services. Maybe next slide, and then the next slide directly. Even after 18 years, Bosch, in the next slide, in a positive way, is still not a typical company to me. We have a lot of strength. We are a strong company. In many spheres, we are the technological frontrunners. This is also shown by the more than 124,000 patents we hold. We are continuing to increase our software strength. We already employ some 38,000 software engineers. Many of these engineers work in India. And we have a broad presence worldwide, with locations in 60 countries across the globe, with about 230 manufacturing sites and about 130 research and development sites. When it comes to sustainability, we play a leading role. We were the first industrial enterprise worldwide to make its operation carbon neutral. By orienting our product portfolio even more closely to sustainability, we will open up huge opportunities for growth. All of this is supported by a very sound financial structure, evidenced by the Bosch Group's equity ratio of 46%. But more than anything else, we have a fantastic team of more than 400,000 associates with outstanding knowledge and skills and a great sense of dedication. We are currently experiencing paradigm shifts that are economic, technical, and social. This holds true for the field of mobility, too, and many of these trends are fueled by continuing digitalization and tangible climate change, and compounded by the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. With innovation sparked by inspiration, based on technological excellence, and characterized by reliability, we provide solutions for today's and tomorrow's mobility demands. For example, with the most advanced steering and stability systems, or with leading cross-domain computing technologies, improved both road safety and driving comfort. And with the most fuel-efficient internal combustion engine to hybrid and battery electric powertrain systems. In all this, connectivity entirely underpins future mobility. Bosch first brought electronics into the motor vehicle, and now we are turning it into an internet node on wheels. Bosch is unique in being active in all domains of software development, from the car to the cloud. Climate change is of central focus to us, not just in terms of products, but also concerns our own environmental footprint. Electromobility is crucial if we are to decarbonize transportation. But we will not achieve a fully electrified fleet worldwide for many years. That's clear. It's crucial to look to the short and medium term as well. Low carbon and completely carbon neutral fuels produced by using renewable energy can help the existing global vehicle fleet play a role in achieving the climate targets. alternative fuels can complement electromobility, where purely battery electric powertrain solutions still face economic or physical challenges, such as in heavy trucks. In addition, low carbon and carbon neutral fuels can be used in countries in which the introduction of electromobility will be delayed somewhat as a result of the lack of recharging infrastructure. Back in September 2016, there was much excitement when the government of India announced a huge leap forward to Bharat Stage 6 emission standards. Some believe that taking such a step in fewer than 4 years was a mission impossible. However, India turned the challenge into an opportunity and completed its Bharat Stage 6 mission to schedule despite coronavirus. Bosch contributed all its engineering capabilities to support the transition, and we will continue to provide our support. Software is a key differentiator in products and services in today's world. It is disrupting all sectors of business, whether mobility, healthcare, manufacturing, consumer goods, finance, education, or e-commerce. India's vast software and digital competence undeniably makes it a global powerhouse. In 2020-21 alone, India exported software services worth $133.7 billion, and its engineering R&D service sector is expected to be worth $63 billion by 2025. The startup ecosystem in India is the third largest in the world, only behind the United States and China. India is home to around 26,000 technology startups and more than 70 unicorns, which close to 2,250 tech startups established and 41 unicorns added in 2021 alone. This speaks for the exemplary digital talent and entrepreneurial zeal of the nation. Bosch has always recognized and invested in the tremendous software and digital competence and capability that India has to offer to the world. Thus, we not only transformed our former engineering entity into Bosch Global Software Technologies, but most of all made India the headquarter of our largest software unit worldwide, employing more than 25,000 associates. They are working on developing end-to-end solutions that connect sensors, software, and services. Such solutions enable businesses to move into the digital age and to improve efficiency by introducing digital elements into their products and processes. I've said before that our talented associates are our greatest assets, and I will happily repeat this. Their hard work, innovation, and commitment has enabled us to come through a difficult time in very good shape. Whether the coronavirus pandemic, climate change, disruption of mobility, or advance in digitalization, our world is changing at an ever faster pace, and Bosch will stay at the top of this game. To mark the start of our centenary celebrations, we have launched a new purpose and initiative called Spark Next. It will be our guiding light for the development of solutions not only for India, but for our changing world as well. My dear colleague, Sumitra Bhattacharya, our president of the Bosch Group in India, will introduce it in further details to you now. Thus, let me express my sincere thanks and congratulations once again. Here's to the next successful 100 years Bosch in India.
Thank you, Stefan, for this amazing presentation, and more importantly, your unstinting support to Bosch India. I will bridge this matter that you talked about on Spark.Next, and I will also brief you about our India business, the 4 business sectors that we have, all of which our parent we have in India, the 15 group companies, and the 76 locations across India. Bosch Limited, the flagship company, is the only public listed company in the world, and which had a turnover of 83 billion rupees in 2020, of course, the corona year. Overall, Bosch Group, including Bosch Siemens Home Appliances, has a turnover of 186 billion in 2020. Make in India is in Bosch India since 1953. And currently, as I mentioned, and you mentioned it too, Stefan, 18 manufacturing entities, 32,000 associates nearly, and 18,000 engineers across 7 R&D locations makes India the largest R&D workforce outside Germany. I would like to share with you, colleagues, our Spark.next and break it up into mobility, living, industry, software, sustainability, and culture. And this is our purpose. And our purpose is in the areas of mobility, as I mentioned, and all the areas that you can see. The auto industry has been responsible for 18% of carbon emissions. And the last 10 years, Bosch India has invested nearly close to 9,000 crores in India. That's a huge amount. And of course, we will continue to remain invested with 1,000 crores for localization of advanced automotive technologies, which the government of India has recently stated, and especially over the next 5 years, for supporting Atmanirbhar Bharat. Our upfront investments globally on electrification has been a whopping 5 billion euro. Bosch has a broader e-portfolio than most companies, and Bosch is also pursuing, as we heard from Stefan Hartung, about alternative forms of e-mobility and investing in fuel cell powertrain. We at Bosch predict that by 2030, every third new vehicle will be an EV. And therefore, our parent has a huge market portfolio, whether e-axles, charcons, inverters, I-boosters, vehicle control units, as well as Bosch scalable drives. Bosch supports on safety the government vision, and the government has a very strong commitment towards reducing road accidents. And colleagues, you know that India has one of the highest road accidents in the world, and the government plans to reduce it by 50% by 2025. We as Bosch India have been supporting various government agencies like the ARI, the MORTH, with accident data research and working closely for more than 10 years. Our continued investments worldwide has also been 40 million euro in the last 10 years. And additionally, 20 million euros are also planned for the next 5 years. And a lot of these things we will also apply in our continued Jugalbandi with the government of India. If I look at aftermarket, and India has the largest market share in a fragmented market with huge reach across India. One small area which I want to talk, besides our huge amount of product, is the multi-brand car service centers in India. And by 2025, you will see Bosch car service in 1,000 locations. Currently, as I speak, we are 400 plus. Bosch will have the largest chain for repair and continues to have it, whether for diesel, electric service, and will grow to 2,000 units and outlets across 972 locations across India. So we are invested in this, and we continue to make investments like our current 26% stake in AutoZilla Solutions, bringing digital platforms also into our whole ecosystem. Power Tools in India is a market leader, again in a fragmented market, and with a more than 30% market share. Bosch creates a range of convenient connected products which aid to the construction of modern India. And colleagues, just day before yesterday, you heard what the finance minister had to say, a whopping 7.5 lakh crores on capex, including infrastructure. So Power Tools plays a very important role. I'm happy to announce that the Chennai factory bagged for 3 consecutive years in its 4-year journey the best Power Tools plant in the world. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember, this is a 100% woman workforce plant which Bosch has. Our Bosch Siemens home appliances has made a very major impact in India. Albeit it's come a little later, but Bosch Siemens home appliances, or BSH as we call it in India, has a 10-year game plan and has established itself very well in the white goods space. Nearly 65% of the products sold in 2022 will be made in India, and our ambition is to go between 70 to 75% localization by 2025. And you can see the range of products, across, and our fantastic factory that BSH has in Chennai. In the area of smart products and safety, security, and communication, all of you know the success of Delhi Metro Rail. We are currently embedded in 50 metro rail projects, and DMRC, Delhi Metro Railway, is one of the jewel in the crown in India. And we have excellent proprietary platforms of whether intelligent video analytics, the latest Bosch-based public address systems, including in many government buildings, and video-based fire detection systems. Energy efficiency is something that we believe very strongly, Bosch worldwide, and we've brought this into India too. And we offer best-in-class offerings for heating and cooling solutions, for CO2 reductions, and this is a part of our sustainable story. Just till now, since we started recently in 2015, we have saved more than 360 crore rupees of energy cost for CO2, and across segments of automotive, process industries, pharma, and also commercial buildings. Our Spark Next extends to integrated manufacturing. Bosch Rexroth, our factory located in Gujarat, in Sanand, is one of the factories which are transforming the factory of the future. Bosch is building smart factories and Industry 4.0 solutions. And we act as a digital partner to create end-to-end assembly and automation. The positive news, Bosch first applies it in all the Bosch 18 factories and then applies it across. I'm happy to announce we've done seminal work also with MSME in India. A very important part which our chairman, Stefan Hartung, mentioned was the pride of Bosch in India, the Bosch Global Software Solutions, BGSW, and this is located out of India. This is the first Bosch business location and headquartered in India. And you can see that we provide everything, from software engineering to mobility to manufacturing, retail, healthcare, and a special focus is on new age technologies, whether AI, ML, cybersecurity, as well as computer vision. Our carbon neutrality and sustainable story has been an amazing journey. Bosch, our parent, since 2020, but also Bosch India, have been carbon neutral in Scope 1 and Scope 2. We have done this quietly and efficiently. We are committed to the India COP26 story, and we are also committed to ensuring not just the aspect of carbon neutrality, but also on the aspect of water. We do huge amount of water conservation, of water reduction, as well as water harvesting. And we have already invested 100 million INR. Also, we have taken a focus on zero waste to landfill. This is a very important part. Between 2020 and 2030, our investment planned for reducing and eliminating waste for landfill is around 500 million INR. Skilling has been something that Bosch India has been working for many, many years. Since we opened our Micro-Vocational Center and later the Bosch Vocational Center, and where we were honored to have Mr. Modi and Mrs. Merkel visit us, we have trained thousands and thousands of apprentices in the dual education system. Another area, which is the Bridge program, till today, and we don't employ the youth, but give them for society, have skilled more than 40,000 youth, trained and employed. Our industry academia collaboration extends beyond 25 universities, and just the latest, in the pandemic, we trained more than 4,000 caregivers for paramedic training. Most important comes Bosch culture. At the end, Bosch is one of the most innovative companies in India, and of course our parent in the world. As you heard from our chairman, our motto, Invented for Life, means that building an innovation culture which is always at the center of our strategy. Bengaluru, which is our headquarters, we have invested more than 800 crores to build a state-of-the-art smart campus, which we will open in June. Bosch has invested in more than 100 crore also to build a Bosch learning campus on innovation and learning. And of course, the DNA program in our Bosch Global Software is a startup incubation program that stands for Discover, Nurture, and Align. In summary, our Spark.Next purpose is to ensure that Bosch is ready to tackle the next century as we transform and transition. Bosch will remain a sustainable, futuristic enterprise driven by innovation and technology. Thank you very much.
We will come to Gilles. Yeah.
We all know the way mobility around us is being transformed on a daily basis. From the connectivity enhancements in the vehicles on the road to innovative modes of commuting developed by new mobility players. As a leading technology innovator, Bosch has realized that the development journey of digital business comes with technical and operational challenges, from choosing the most appropriate technology stacks to adapting to ever-changing regulatory requirements. And that is why Bosch is proud to launch the Mobility Cloud platform today, a launchpad and ecosystem built in Bosch Limited for developing, implementing, and scaling IoT-enabled digital products for new connected mobility solutions as a B2B offering. Bosch India is not just another cloud infrastructure provider, but a launchpad to rapidly develop and launch solutions. Using our scalable, high-performance multi-tenant architecture, reusable technology stacks, and custom suite of mobility software services. Now, to better understand the concept, let's use the example of a company wanting to offer parking solutions. By exploring the offerings on the Mobility Cloud platform, they can choose from all relevant hardware, software, and API offerings suitable for parking. The company can then pick and choose a cloud infrastructure subscription, a plug-and-play mobility software services, or peripheral software services. With this, they can manage this end-to-end life cycle while focusing on the core features of a smart parking solution. Payable as one-time payments for hardware, APIs per hit, pay-as-you-go for cloud infrastructure, and subscription for device management. Let's play the video, please.
My dream enterprise is one which solves pressing problems, helps my customers, and offers gainful employment to many. And every dream begins with an idea, a bright and resourceful idea. But I've learned that in the digital world, ideas alone are not enough to achieve success, because dealing with product development complexities can be overwhelming. Things like setting up a cloud infrastructure with the right set of technologies, services, integrating and managing environments, managing a team which grows faster than the product, leading to escalating costs, issues with scalability of non-core subsystems built quick and dirty to realize early go-to-market, siloed development leading to lack of opportunities to collaborate with peer organizations on technical and business fronts, limiting growth prospects, and complying to ever-changing regulatory, policy and security norms. Can be quite the hassle.
But it doesn't have to be. Hi, I'm from the Mobility Cloud Platform team, and I'm here to be your partner in your digital transformation and product innovation journey. The Mobility Cloud Platform is a launchpad and ecosystem to develop IoT-enabled digital products for new age connected solutions, which allows you to fully leverage the Bosch digital mobility ecosystem. From multi-cloud infrastructure services with enterprise support, to a custom-developed, ready-to-use suite of plug-and-play mobility-focused software services and peripheral support such as cloud infra maintenance, DevOps, and business consulting. And that's not all. We have much more to offer in our ecosystem. And the best part is, you can pick and choose individual services with no lock-in that fit your solution the best.
So that means I have complete control over my digital product journey and transformation. And I can focus on my core features.
That's right. You don't have to build your entire digital solution from scratch. Leverage the MCP ecosystem to speed up your time to market. This allows you to build a lean organization focusing only on your core product features and services, and reduce operational costs by up to 25% thanks to our plug-and-play SaaS portfolio and shared services from our operations team. Achieve faster time to market by up to 3x. What are you waiting for? Come, be a part of the Bosch digital mobility ecosystem with the Mobility Cloud platform. Connect with us.
Consumer preferences, rapid shifts in technology, and evolving regulatory landscape provide opportunities to mobility players to look at new ways of capturing value in the whole ecosystem. Bosch India is well prepared to make this leap through a digital marketplace which aims to be the one-stop shop for all mobility-related assets. We are proud to also launch this platform built-in Bosch Limited named Mobility Marketplace, focusing on improving utilization and efficiency elements across the ecosystem. The ability to create tradable digital assets in an accessible repository is the key motivation behind the Mobility Marketplace. It's a neutral platform focused on mobility solutions powered by Bosch expertise in the mobility domain. Mobility Marketplace offers a platform to list and transact digital assets such as APIs, data such as road and weather data, telematics, navigation, point of interest services for parking, or EV infrastructure. Some of the key offerings from Bosch, like vehicle prognostics, road condition service, are already available on the platform. We bring the mobility-specific buyer and the seller together. Let's imagine you want to offer a service to a fleet operator. Now, the fleet operator is looking for a navigation, but he will not only get the information about the estimated time of arrival, but also for any road anomalies. So on the marketplace, a seller offers road condition data which you can buy and use in your end customer service. Let's play the video, please.
Every solution is a combination of different kinds of modules. These modules are combined together and form an end-user product. Every product having a common module in general which may have same business purpose or use. Developing these modules is time-consuming. Also, every time new developer developing these modules undergoes security and legality check process. This leads to finance and resource constraint. What if solution blocks are available as reusable components inventory? Introducing Mobility Marketplace, an app store for all software modules and APIs, a web store for all hardware components, one huge marketplace for data, one-stop access for all customer base, an intelligent platform for all solution seekers and problem solvers. Search the modules whatever you're looking for. Our digital marketplace allows you to find the right module, hardware and solution. For example, if you're looking for an API, you can get all the details and supported documents. You can also see list of API endpoints. On click of test endpoints, get your endpoint result and response code. And lastly, you can select a pricing plan defined by the seller to start consuming the API. Similarly, you can buy hardwares and data modules. Start selling on Mobility Marketplace. You can also showcase your modules and products, log into your seller account with your credentials, and add an API using Swagger file or manually. Choose the type of API to proceed for adding API description, API settings, API endpoints, documents, and add your pricing plan. That's it. Your module is published successfully and buyers can view it in Marketplace. You can also view the graphical representation of cumulative API statistics. Mobility Marketplace reduces time to market and results with satisfied customers.
Thank you so much, Stefan, Marcus, and Sumetro for the excellent presentation. Now we have some time for questions, and I would love to start a question to Stefan. When you took on your role as a chairman of the board of management, it was described as a part of a generational change. How do you see this change in practice, and what are your priorities for Bosch in the next few years, especially for India?
Well, change in practice is always to be seen quite pragmatic and down to the floor. You have to change your office, you're changing teams, so you have to bring together people. That's the typical thing what you have to do. And yes, all things are changing for yourself because obviously the processes, the document flow, whoever is communicating with you, all that changes. So that's what we have to do when we change jobs, and that's the same for me. Nothing different, right? So for the company, obviously, first of all, things go on, right? We are a well set up company. We are well positioned. We are working on many subjects. Many thousand people are doing a great job. 100,000s of people doing a great job, right? So these things go on. And we will, over time now, see obviously change also coming to the company from the outside perspective as well as from our strategy, for sure. That will come over time. And you know, times are changing fast right now. So guess what? We'll also be fast. That's for sure.
Fantastic. We will start to take questions from the floor. I have a question from Shruti, Economic Times. I will ask you kindly to unmute yourself and start your video. It'll take some time, probably. Yeah, I can ask that question. Can you elaborate the areas where we spend 1,000 crores investment in automotive space will be directed to over the next 5 years? And is there any targets of localization as well considered here? I would probably start with Marcus, and I think Sandeep should be also with us as well. So Marcus, if you would like to kick off, and maybe Sandeep can also contribute after.
Sure. I mean, we are today already at the forefront of technologies with regard to combustion engines. At the same time, we are globally also a leader in electromobility. And specifically in India, we have investment into Sun Mobility, with whom we partner in terms of swappable battery management and battery systems, where we bring in certainly a good deal of expertise when it comes to the management systems of such swappable batteries. Similarly, we also partner with many other companies. Another good example to me is the investment in the Indian company Routomatic, which is basically a mobility service company which is venture-based.
Sandeep, would you like to add some remarks from your end?
Well, I think Marcus has already alluded to the investments in Sun Mobility and Routomatic. We are continuing to investigate very actively partnerships in the overall mobility space, basically focusing on personalized, automated, connected, and electrified space. Over to you.
Thank you. So, Metro, you mentioned in your presentation that Bosch India is achieved, first of all, the Scope 1 and 2 net zero carbon targets in 2020. With achieving that, you gain lots of experience. And as your role in the society, and as well as here in India for the supply chain, how do you see Bosch helping other companies, our suppliers, maybe even customers, in achieving this target?
It's a very interesting question, Iman. Bosch India has always been working in close partnership with all stakeholders. And if you just take this example on carbon neutrality, we work, and since we have already achieved it in 2020 globally and in India, we work very closely, whether be it with our suppliers, many of whom are MSMEs, whether be it working with the government. I shared with you that how we share information openly with government on many important areas. And today, sustainability, carbon neutrality, and ESG have become very important topics in India. So, including now that we have started working on Scope 3, we will continue working with all stakeholders, be it our suppliers, be it our customers, be it the government, and even be it society.
Excellent. There's a question which probably we all expected here from Hindu Business Line, Ronindra, and excuse my British accent if I mention it wrongly. There has been a pressure on the OEMs because of chip shortage, and we heard of lots of companies suffering because Bosch is the main supplier to them. So how Bosch is dealing with this crisis?
Yeah.
I suggest maybe, Marcus, if you would like to start and followed with Sandeep.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I would like to emphasize that the chip shortage is not originated at Bosch. Certainly, we, as being the largest supplier of electronic systems, have to deal with the issue together with our customers. And what we are doing is, first, we extend our manufacturing footprints, and all of you know that we have been for decades a chip manufacturer ourselves. So what we're currently doing is try to expand our manufacturing footprint. At the same time, for sure, we try to be innovative and creative to find alternative chips for the various applications for our customers in order to ease up the situation. I would like to mention that what we're looking at here is not an automotive issue per se. It is something where a general shortage across all branches is happening due to the fact that overall products do need more chips in total. And that is something which is impacting all branches as well automotive. We are confident to make good steps forward in order to get ourselves and our customers in a position where we can run the supply chains again in a normal way.
Sandeep, would you like to add?
Just one point in addition to what Marcus just mentioned. We are staying in very close connect with our OE customers in India. And one area where we are regionally very active is to try and find alternate technical solutions in order to mitigate the impact as much as possible.
Thanks, Sandeep. We remain with Hindu Business Line. How much has Bosch invested in India so far in the last 100 years? And how much do you plan to invest in India in the next 10 years? I guess, Sumitro, this question has your name on it.
Thank you very much. I won't be able to give Economic Times a quick number on the 100 years, but as we already mentioned, just the last decade, we've invested more than 9,000 crores into India. And we've given this commitment further on, additional invests which are coming in, including what I talked about on advanced technologies that we'll be putting in another 1,000 crores in the next 4 or 5 years, And, we are deeply invested also right now on what, Marcus, you announced on the mobility cloud platform and out of India. So I think Bosch has really been invested. And I can say on behalf of the India team, but also our chairman, global chairman, as well as chairman for mobility, both of whom are here today, they are deeply, deeply invested in India for the future.
Brilliant. We'll continue with Express Mobility, the Financial Express, Raj Kamal. And the question is, how can ADAS, actually I should know better, ADAS technology be made more affordable, especially for a country like India? What kind of EV tech is Bosch working on, especially for mass market vehicles? I guess we will go back to Marcus.
Well, very good question. From our side, I can tell you that we are absolutely committed to further reduce the number of accidents significantly. So we are in safety business, and the systems we are developing are now more and more penetrating all vehicle platforms. So going forward, we aim at reducing accidents by more than 50%. And doing this, of course, it's our obligation to make these systems, ADAS systems, more affordable so that they can be democratized and be brought to all people. We feel that's a great purpose. We are absolutely committed to that. We are fully invested in these technologies globally, but also now more and more in India. So going forward, this is something which we are fully focusing on.
Brilliant. AT Auto questions, I'm wondering if we could get them live. Okay, that's fine. So it's a question from Sumantra. What is Bosch's outlook on the longevity of the internal combustion engine, especially in the backdrop of new developments in the alternative fuel space? I guess, Stefan, you mentioned in several interviews as well that you have, or Bosch actually has a view on this. So it would be really great if we can explore it with you.
Well, first of all, in current times, we see engines are extremely needed, and we have engines in a large fleet of vehicles. That's the fact, right? There is various areas now which will switch step by step to electromobility, right? The small vehicles, especially in the three-wheelers, we will see further developments. You heard about the regulation of swappable batteries in India, so that will promote also electrification of that sector, and that also will happen for cars step by step over time. Why do I say that step by step over time? Because the same time you want to do this with the engines and the drivetrains, you have to always consider also infrastructural needs. And that also has to be built over time. And you can't just have that on the start, and you can't just invest into all of these things at the same time. So in parallel to that, there is a wide selection necessary of technologies to go carbon neutral beside of that. So we will offer always most efficient engine technology because we need engines for quite some time. We will have also to deal with the best electromobility solutions for all kinds of vehicles which are on the road, from the very small two-wheelers, three-wheelers, cars, and then comes the trucks. The trucks are mixed. Some of them can run on batteries, but some of them technically it is very difficult to run them on batteries. So there come technologies like fuel cells, there come technology like also hydrogen engines. So that again will unlock further necessities for infrastructure because that hydrogen also needs to come somewhere to the point of use. So you see a development now over the next decades where things have to go step by step in place. And guess what? Everybody wants a solution for his vehicle which is competitive and economic viable. So while we're doing this on this path, these vehicles have to be also price-wise affordable. The fuels which are used are necessary to be available, and obviously also cost-wise to be affordable for people. Otherwise, we would have other effects. So Bosch's role is to offer these CO2-free technologies to our customers, and the customers then with the infrastructure debates which going on with the government, will unlock these technologies with vehicle for people.
So, Metro, the budget has been announced yesterday, as you know. This has implication, obviously, on the topic was just Stefan actually mentioned. We know that there are lots of announcements about the investments, specifically on the electromobility. And I'm just wondering, for you as a CEO leading Bosch India, were you happy with the budget? And what is your recommendation for the industry in India?
So I'll just refer to both the budget and, very interestingly, just now, what Stefan Hartung mentioned. India has upped its capex in this budget 22 by 35% and brought about a whopping record 7.5 lakh crores, that's 100 billion US, into the capex plan, which is both physical as well as digital. One very big element of that is roads, ports, but also the whole aspect of the digital transformation that India is going through, including the word used by the Prime Minister, Gati Shakti. So in my view, when you improve the infrastructure massively with government spendings of this magnitude, you are actually inviting private investment also. So I would say the focus very clearly by the Government of India, infrastructure, on electrification, on digitization, where India is actually leapfrogging. And this augurs very well to what I would say a very progressive budget, and has been mentioned as bold and non-populistic actually. So I feel along with this, the incentives which are coming out for advanced technologies, where India wants to actually leapfrog, just the way we leapfrogged from BS4 to BS6, augurs very well for India for the future, and especially the linkage which our chairman mentioned very clearly. We will have to have execution, and we will have to run it parallelly to see that infrastructure is built while these initiatives happen.
We will stay on electromobility, and we will take a question from Sakshi. As you already identified electric mobility as a key driver for the sustainable future, does Bosch have any plans of coming years with electric vehicles? This is an interesting question for you, Marcus. I'm sure you have a speed answer on it.
Yeah, thank you for the question. As already mentioned, we are fully committed also towards developing electromobility. And for sure, we are following our customers and enabling our customers also in India for electric vehicles. We have a great product portfolio already today, ranging from e-motors over inverters, battery management systems, and the likes. So from my point of view, we will be fully in it, fully dedicated for it. And I'm not just talking about four-wheelers, I'm also talking about two- and three-wheelers, which in my personal view are also great application areas for electromobility, for the simple reasons that these are lightweight vehicles and from their application purpose are well fitted for electromobility.
Another question, of course, and we're still in electromobility, express mobility, the financial express. That question will go to Sandeep. What kind of EV tech is Bosch working on, especially for mass market vehicles in India?
Earlier, we believe that the last mile connectivity and last mile mobility with use cases with the two and three wheelers would perhaps have a head start, a much earlier head start in the market compared to traditional passenger cars, which are also developing tractions. So in the two-wheeler space, we already have EV systems on offer, starting with scalable drives, hub drives, 48-volt battery packs, and motor controller unit. We are also investigating such EV packs in the three-wheeler space and also in light duty, where I mentioned that the last mile transportation, including swappable ecosystems, find attractive total cost of ownership. On the passenger cars, of course, we are working with OEMs in terms of getting standard e-axle components into projects. And of course, on the commercial vehicle front, we do have the hydrogen engine concept and the fuel cell packs as well. So Bosch will basically cater to end-to-end use case requirements in the market.
Let's try to go to one of the colleagues in MS team. So I will start with Ottokar Nilish. I'm wondering if you can unmute yourself and start your video.
Yeah, thank you for my this opportunity. I would like to clarify two things. One is during Stefan's entire speech, he mentioned Bosch will be investing 1,000 crores in automotive and 1,000 crores in digital mobility business. So is the total investment over 2,000 crores?
I'm wondering, Stefan, if you would like to start, and I would also suggest Sumitro afterwards to comment.
Yeah, there's two areas which are most important to invest in automotive. One, has just been mentioned in the previous questions, is the whole story of electromobility going in and the change of drivetrains. That's a big area, so that will consume quite some money. So that's this first 1,000 crores, right? The second, on the digital side, we will see way more functionality first to reduce accidents. We just heard that, which is part of the digital space. On the other hand, you will also see a whole bunch of new network-based systems, communication-based systems, which are interacting between vehicles and infrastructure and giving more services to people. And that's the other area. We will see also there massive investment onwards in the next year. So you see Bosch with mechanical manufacturing plans a lot, right, for engine components and similar things. But you see Bosch also developing in India to an electronics company, way more into safety systems and way more also into these communication based services, which are much of those software based, much of those also with electronics interfacing. And Sumitro may interact. That actually leads to these thousands of crores which will have to be invested, because otherwise we could not serve that market.
Thank you, Stefan. You said it all. I'll just add by saying yes, we are plan to invest this money over the next few years up to 2025, 1,000 crores both on digital investments as well as 1,000 crores also on advanced technologies. I already mentioned to you that India is leapfrogging on advanced technologies, and the PLI is one such example. And Bosch would be investing in these advanced technologies to do a jugalbandi with the government of India in relation to this. So yes, this is for Bosch India, and this will happen over the next few years up to 25, 26, and we are focused on it.
There's a question from Deccan Herald. Besides its own multi-brand automotive servicing centers, is Bosch also planning to partner with the vast network of India's local unorganized automotive service sector to be equipped with Bosch technologies? I'm wondering if, Sandeep, you could shed light on this question, please.
There are efforts being undertaken by automotive aftermarket in building digital platforms, which will also enable businesses, which will also enable technology proliferation, services proliferation, and access to standard hardware in the unorganized sector as well. Yes, of course, but this will be enabled by digital platforms being worked on in the automotive aftermarket.
Brilliant. There is also a question, and we will go now in the area of engineering and skills. Question from the Times of India. How much more of hiring are you planning in the technology space, and what kind of talent, which engineering disciplines, what is happening in the employment here? And I'm looking to Sumitro.
Thank you, Iman. I think Bosch has been doing hiring, across India and across various disciplines. So if you just look at two companies that I refer to, the Bosch Global Software Company, which is located out of India, And if you look at the flagship company, which is Bosch Limited, we hire engineers, accountants, and colleagues from all disciplines, mainly, of course, engineers. We hire them across India, multidisciplinary, and we have a very good system in both these companies, like all our group companies, of induction, a transitioning, a training for the chosen fields. We also have excellent collaborations with universities where we are working with them, not just at the hiring stage, but well before, where many of these, thousands of these youngsters undergo internship with Bosch in India. So this has been a very good platform. I also mentioned a little while ago that Bosch Limited, is a great place to work. So we have a very strong brand name in India, and with our youthful presence of 100 years. So we will continue to nurture talent, and all this talent gets a chance to work not just in India, but across also the global world of Bosch.
If we stay on here, there's another question from the Telangana Today. Total capex planned for India in the next 1-2 years, and the sector break-up for funding. So I'm guessing that they would like to know the total capex. And the other question was, what will be the R&D and innovation focus for India in the future? Specifically now we're looking into the second century.
Thank you. So Iman, I would give some indicating figures to our colleagues. Let me give you a small example. Bosch India, historically, in the last 10 years, has invested consistently an average of 900 crores per year. This for the whole Bosch Group of India. Of course, majority has come in from the flagship company, Bosch Limited. And we have just stated that in up to 25-26, both for digital space as well as for advanced technologies, what our chairman referred to, on hardware as well as digital, we'll invest another 1,000 plus 1,000 crores. So you can clearly see that, this bandwidth of what I'm talking about has been maintained in the past and will be maintained. Of course, we invest based on need. And of course, we invest based on the government's focus areas. And of course, today you already have seen that advanced technologies, leapfrogging, electrification, hydrogen, our mobility cloud platform, all these areas we will continue to invest in. So we don't give guidance. However, you can clearly see from both the numbers, the 9,000 crores and the 1,000 plus 1,000 crores, you clearly see we are invested in India.
We're going back again to the semiconductors issue. Question from ABP. And it's really questioned what is the impact of shortage of semiconductors on the production and business in India operation. Obviously, is pointing out that the automobile industry in India suffered, of course, because of the pandemic and now of the semiconductor shortage. I'm wondering if, Stefan, you could reflect on the investment Bosch recently did actually with our manufacturing in Dresden, and as well as the recent investment in Reutlingen, and how that actually could relieve the whole situation with the semiconductor issue.
Yeah, Marcus mentioned it before. The semiconductor issue is something where we have to be really humble and see what is happening in our supply industry. Only very small part of the semiconductors we produce ourselves in special areas like micromechanic sensors and ASICs. There we have own capacity, and that capacity we do extend massively, right, with big investments, which started even before that crisis. But in general, we see a shortage over all areas. And that is affecting us because most of the semiconductors we need for our products and our customers need in their vehicles, right, most of these semiconductors are bought and manufactured with partners, with semiconductor partners, and there's a global supply chain for that. And that supply chain is short of capacity. And that is a very, very tough situation for everybody, not only automotive, but also household appliances, all areas. You see it in electronics, consumer electronics, you see it anywhere that supply lines are short. Now, we are dealing with all manufacturers of semiconductors very intense and near We know them all, they know all of us. We are long years partners with these companies. So guess what? It's a burden for all of us, and specifically, obviously, our customers. The key is those semiconductors we get and we can procure and manufacture with our partners, we need to bring to the markets in a good way so that the right vehicles have to be manufactured then later, and these can serve the markets at least to a minimum level, which is possible. And that is in all markets. So there is no specific impact on India, but it's on all markets. It's from China to US to Europe, and India is included in that. And we are trying to manage with our suppliers and customers the best balance between supply and demand for all customers here in our markets, including our Indian customers. And I have to say, hopefully, the very worst at some point in time will be behind us. But so far, we cannot say the warning is over. It is still under a very short supply constraint, and we are still working on with our teams really diligently with all our suppliers and customers pretty much on a daily basis.
We have Nelish again, Autocar. Please unmute yourself and start the video if possible. Thank you.
Hi, I wanted to clarify, since Bosch already has a semiconductor manufacturing plant in Germany, and with the government of India now, focusing and inviting companies to set up manufacturing of semiconductors in India, does Bosch have any plan in regards to that, given the fact that you have got a huge customer base and the technical expertise on that segment?
I guess, I don't know if...
I can say a
Sumit
couple
would
words
like
to it. I mean, we are specialized, you know, that in India, in the manufacturing on electronics. So that's what we do in India quite intensely, electronic manufacturing next to our ECU manufacturing for the control units. The semiconductor manufacturing is a very special area. Actually, from the capacity-wise, you see that in Bosch, it's a small specific area with now 2 factories which are considered. One is in Reutlingen, the other is in Dresden. That is big investments we are right now dealing with and ramping up. And guess what? That's a big task for us. In India, we will continue to focus on the electronics and not plan yet to go further steps also on semiconductors. We have to first digest, let's be honest, the investments we have started in the locations I just mentioned.
We're running out of time, but we will allow another question. Please go ahead. If you can just say your name and organization, and please kick off with the question. Thank you.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for this opportunity. If I'm audible, this is Sumantra Barwa from ET Auto. A follow-up question to the earlier remark by the chairman. It's about the longevity of the overall life of the ICE vehicle. Good to see Bosch's focus on carbon neutrality, and with the development of, let's say, flex fuel technologies, and the Indian government also encouraging a higher blended fuel, ethanol blended fuel. Do you think with these kind of developments happening in key markets like India and elsewhere, the life of the internal combustion engine could be perhaps longer than what we were expecting maybe about 2 years ago or 3 years ago with the backdrop of the electric mobility megatrend?
Yeah, I think...
Marcus and Sandeep, I think the question... Go ahead.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, we all will answer it probably. I will start a bit on this direct question. The issue is obviously we have always to disconnect these 2 thoughts which are happening parallel. One is we as technology providers are pushing very hard to bring these technologies like electrification to our customers, that it's available for them so that they can do vehicles with these technologies. And that is the new build of vehicles, which will change gradually over time. And that will take a certain amount of time before the entire production capacity for these vehicle manufacturers then is step by step transferred towards electromobility or alternative fuels, hydrogen mobility, and so on. At the same time, you have to consider, and that is actually this time difference, when we can say in 10, 15 or 20 years, we will have transformed the automotive manufacturing side towards fully supplying then all vehicles in these carbon-free technologies and include the infrastructure buildup, which has been done by then, we have to consider that there is a big fleet of vehicles out on the street, and worldwide it's 1.4 billion vehicles on the street. To transform this fleet of vehicles, you need another really decades to do this. Why? Because the total capacity of the automotive industry worldwide is around 100 million vehicles, maybe a bit more, a bit less. That is majorly right now still ICE. 1.4 billion vehicles in the fleet, so you already see that would mean full capacity, all electrified, would take 14 years to switch it. And by the way, the fleet is growing. So we talk about long time spans. That is naturally. So while we all want to do it as fast as we can, and we all want to do it as quick as we get it, transform it, and get it out on the street, we have to consider it's not possible that every vehicle owner just tomorrow buys a new vehicle. These vehicles last a long time, so that's these time span differences. And yes, there will be, that's my opinion, every single technology which is CO2 free will be needed. Yeah, otherwise we'll not make it. We always talk about things like 2035, 2050. That is a very short time span. That is a very short time span for this thing, what we try to do here. And I believe that all technologies that are not emitting CO2 will be necessary to match the Paris Agreement. And then we have a good chance. But it will take a real effort by pretty much everybody on the planet. And you know how difficult that is to motivate everybody on the planet to go that way. India, for sure, important role, but India at the same time, in this time span, also wants to develop its economy, develop its people, become a more wealthy country, which is, I think, deserved. So that also has to be managed in parallel, because a good climate needs also a good climate in people, right? We need it both, a great climate in society and a great climate on the planet. And that's what we have to manage. That's our task to start it now.
It can be applicable on
I cannot hear you.
On Bosch's take on the scope of synthetic fuels for use in internal combustion engines. It's been there in more as a R&D lab project, but far from commercialization. Is there a scope for market adoption for synthetic fuels according to Bosch?
The task we have, we are not in the fuels business at all. You know that, right? We are in this, but our business is, and our knowledge is that we can bring these fuels into engines and it will work. Yeah, and you see that, by the way, that these on natural resources based fuels, so renewable fuels, you see big things happening in Brazil since decades where mixed fuels are used. So these technologies will be able to be implemented, but it depends very much if these fuels can be made available, if it's possible to get them on scale, and so on. But I believe we should keep our options as open as possible. Then we will also succeed.
Thank you.
We have the final question. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. I apologize to my colleagues from the media. There's a question from the Hindu business line. India is keen to develop the country as an export hub. How much export does Bosch India do now? Any plans to step it also up in the future in different segments? I'm looking to you, Sometro. Maybe you can also shed lights on other non-business, non-mobility areas.
Yeah, I think in Bosch, we have globally a very clear policy of local for local, while encouraging exports across the world wherever it makes sense. So in India, we have been exporting anywhere between a range of 8% up to 12 and sometimes even 14% of our turnover. And we definitely want to stay at the, not at the single digit, but at the double digit. And we have ensured that not just for our regional exports, whether it is for the neighboring countries, but across the world, we continue to do it. So our domestic focus will continue to be the main focus. However, we are strengthening our export capabilities and our export department and focusing to have a strong double digit and not a single digit.
This is all we have time for today. So we will have to make that our final question and draw this session to a close. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're delighted to have shared our century celebration with you, as well as to present why we are so excited for the transformation of the coming years. I think the presentations from Stefan, Soumitra, and Marcus, and the contribution from Sandeep today show that 100 years on from Bosch's arrival into this country, Bosch in India is not only thriving, but it's a key part of India's development, including a big part in making in India, with innovation sparked by inspiration based on technological excellence and characterized by reliability. We are shaping the future of business, society, and technology. We are Bosch, invented for life. Thank you again for attending. Please stay safe, healthy, and as we always say, keep tuned.